begin by playing the opening segment of the piece for you, about 10-15 seconds of music, and then we'll start from the very beginning. We'll go bar by bar, note by note, and I'll show you everything you need to learn it yourself, everything you need to play it yourself. So here's what the music sounds like. Here's what it starts with. Okay, so the nice thing about this piece is that the whole thing really revolves around a very simple and brief motif, which is great because it means after you learn the first line or two of music, the rest of the piece becomes progressively easier as you kind of recycle material as you go through it. All right, let's jump into it. We begin with this, which is just one full bar to introduce the motif that comes right after it. 5 and 1 on C, and then the right hand on a G above it. You can use whatever fingering you want for this note since it's just a single solitary note in the right hand. The piece is in C minor, at least for the first few pages, and we are in 4/4 time, 4 beats per bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, etc. All right, so there's your first bar. Into the next bar, let's have a look at the left. That's the spine of the harmony. 1 on C, 2 on A flat, 3 on G, resolving to a 5 on C. Next 2 bars are the same. 2 beats for each of these. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple enough, right? Now the right hand. That's your motif. 5, 2, 3, 1. And you play that twice. Small detail about the technique here and how you should approach this. I want you to build a good habit since it's everywhere. I want you to build a good habit right out of the gate. When you fall on these first 2 notes, when you fall and sink into the keys, what I don't want you to do is then lift the weight of the hand and then play the next note and then lift the weight of the arm and play the next note. That would essentially break up this little motif into 3 distinct pieces. You don't want that. You want the whole motif to be one unit, both musically and technically. So instead of bouncing on each note, what I want you to do is once you sink into the first one, stay sunk, and then transfer that arm's weight to the next note and then to the next note. And then it's only when you get to the C that you get to lift your hand up and prepare it for the next descent. But all 3 of these events are within one movement, within one sinking weight of the hand. That'll make it much easier to learn, less strain for the hand, and musically it'll sound better, a lot better. All right, let's continue. Next, we drop down, second finger on G, and then more or less the same thing repeats. It's just now in a different part of the keyboard. Twice. Next, we move up by 1, and then we have only 1 of these. 3 on a white note, and then thumb on G. So just 1 of those, right? Followed by 5 and 1, the pattern breaks. Something new now, right? And then we finish with the same motifs we had up here, but an octave lower. together. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. What I want you also to notice is these last two motifs don't fall on the beginning of each beat. Here they do, right? 1, 2, but at the end they fall right in the middle of the beat. Watch again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's the end of the motif that aligns with the beats that are said. Right? That's kind of an important detail because it can be confusing if you're not quite sure. You're not quite sure of how that is meant to sound with the left hand. So let's play with both hands. Together. Right hand moves, left hand also changes. Together. Right hand moves, left hand changes. And here, it's at the end of the motif that aligns with the left hand C. Here. Speed it up a smidge. One thing that I'm going to do as we move into this piece and we get syncopations and more complex rhythms is I'm going to subdivide each beat into 4. That'll give us 16th notes, right? So instead of just saying 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to subdivide them and have this as a result. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. So once I start doing that, I don't want you to be confused, but that is the purpose of this, of course, is to find the lowest common denominator, or a denominator that can cover all the differences in rhythm. And that's, of course, a 16th note. All of these motifs are either in 16ths or 8ths. So speaking these subdivisions will essentially be the same as speaking 8th notes, or 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see? That's the subdivision. So as we go through more complicated things, that's what I'll do to subdivide each full beat into 4 smaller ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving on. The next bar is as follows. Almost the same, but the left hand or the right hand is a little more embellished. We have the first bit, which is the same, followed by 5, 2, 3, 5, 1. Take some time and make sure that that's very clear. Moving on. Same idea. And the left and right hand align in the exact same way you might expect. Now, obviously, the extra difficulty here is going to be you don't have a lot of time to go from this to this. That'll just take a little bit of time for you to get comfortable with that jump and keep playing it at a nice leisurely tempo until you learn that jump comfortably. Right? Etc. Okay, so that's dandy. Let's do it again and keep going. The left hand, you know, is this. So that one is taken care of. try, the next bar is exactly the same as what you've already learned. So that's good news. There you have it. The pedal, as you can see, changes on each one of these left-hand moves, and that's pretty much it for the opening of Croatian Rhapsody. If you'd like to finish off the rest of it, there's part 2. We go through the whole thing, and that'll be on my website. It's got a free trial, so you can hop on over, see if you like it, hang around if you like it, and I'll be happy to have you. And if you don't, you can cancel it. You won't be charged anything, etc. Free trial. You understand how that works. Okay. See you in part 2.